Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK EU podcast and YouTube channel. And today we are joined by Kasia. Kasia, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you very much for having me. How are you, Sisima?
Very well, very well. And thank you for joining us today because, it's one of these topics that many of us have been through in our life, where a person has been seeking out in our world, and sometimes we stand there and we feel like we're helpless, or sometimes we're taking care of people, and you know there's so many different scenarios that everyday people are going through. And it occurred to me that a lot of us who walk the path of progression in our lineage, we are applying the tools to our family and loved ones all the time, and also helping ourselves to keep focused. And I know you had a situation with your grandma that I would like to talk about, but also you recently your little cat, Kitty Tinkerbell, as well. And I know so many of us are connected to the animal kingdom. So these beautiful healings and rituals and things that we do also apply to the animal kingdom, as well as as well as our loved ones, our family and friends. So I'd love to start first of all with your grandma. Could you, or would you be willing to tell us the experience that you had and how you were able to assist?
So I've noticed that, when someone we love is unwell, it's very easy for us to get emotional and maybe unstable, and that doesn't help them. But I noticed when I was doing my rituals, I was able to be with her in this loving embrace, and I felt very stable and supporting. And studying the ancient wisdom in mystery school, knowing where we come from, where we're going, it was helping me to be at peace and holding that peace for her as she was preparing, to transition. So even though she was not directly receiving healing session, but being present in that higher energy that we create within our being, for ourselves, like that has such a tremendous effect on our loved ones and allows them to relax. Because when we unwell, I think everyone can connect that we can get quite stressed, quite imbalanced, quite emotional, and that doesn't help our body to recover. It doesn't help the healing process. So if we can be held in that loving light by our family member, that's so beautiful. And grandma is only one example. I can talk about my parents and my brother or my little nephew, how our family responds to it, either receiving the healing session or being in a graded space, being in a high energy, being held in the light during this process.
Yeah, it's very important if we can be that stability and that that middle pillar for those around of us who perhaps are unwell. I 100% agree. And would you mind sharing a little bit about Tinkerbell? Because there's a lot of viewers out there who absolutely adore their their pets, and the animal kingdom is very close to us. In the mystery school, they're so loyal and full of joy and love. And would you be willing to share a little bit about that story?
I would love to. I would love to just add a little piece to my grandma's story, because when she passed, and when we're going through grievance, actually the grieving process for my family was so much easier because of the rituals and light. My parents also are initiates, so it's beautifully to see how we've grieved, how we were able more to celebrate her life after she crossed. So that was very, very beautiful to witness. That departure was, I don't know if I want to use the words more easier, maybe more graceful, more loving, more accepting.
Yes, I agree. It really does help have that having that. Yes.
And so Tinkerbell, it's like a little bit more recent. It only she only crossed over in May, but I think many of us have that love for our pets, and I can say truly, she was my best friend, and I had her for 15 years. And when I find out she was unwell, she almost died in January, but actually doing rituals, creating a temple at home, for her, sending healing sessions. It helped me to be more accepting if this is her time. And she was actually at the vet, and they were not giving her many days. And they said if I take her from the hospital, from pet's hospital, from the vet home, she most probably will pass over during that weekend. And it was just so tremendous. Like when she was on that level of crossing, I was able to, almost hear her. Like I knew she wanted to return home, and I thought she wanted to return home to peacefully pass beside me. But it was so miraculous, because when she came home and I was able to, I was flowing unselfish to her. I wanted her to be at peace. I wanted for her to relax. She had a kidney disease, so she was struggling with eating and drinking. And just being at home, she suddenly turned around and started behaving how like little kitty, started being playful, and she started eating, and so she started drinking. So it was just so incredible also as an initiate how we have that intuition, because even though the vet was telling me that she wanted to pass, there's a time maybe she will be passing over, having that courage to listen to to the intuition, or to even our pet guidance, they communicate with us, and taking her home and trusting that everything will be okay. And by doing so, I managed to have extra 4 months with her. And when at the time, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get emotional. And when the time came for her to cross, she was able to cross at home, in my arms, in a beautiful high energy, and it was actually beautiful. Yeah. So super
I know.
grateful for all the tools we. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us, I know there'll be a lot of viewers out there who will understand that connection that we have to our animal uh, uh, kingdom family, because they are family. They are family. So, and that is so amazing that you were able to do that, and for her to have that, to have that level of care and love. It's just flowing that into the world as well. It's just incredible. So that's amazing. And throughout this, obviously, you mentioned a little bit about you know how the rituals and the healing support you in making the right decisions. Could you touched on that, with Tinkerbell and with that. So, how important do you feel that is in these times of great emotional stress?
Tremendously important, because I had to make some very important decision, and without the rituals, I don't think I will be able to make them, and to make them with the peace in the heart. That's because we can make the decision and then be all over the place. To be able to know in the moment that we're making the right decision, like that connection. I love the path of progression, because we embodying the spiritual in the physical, and then as we're doing that for ourselves, it extends that connection to the spiritual realms on all levels. So it was the same for my grandma, same for Tinkerbell. When there was a time of crossing, when it was that the veil was thin, and we were able I was able to feel both worlds, being able to do the rituals and connect and hold myself to that high energy, for me, but also for them, and making those difficult decisions, because they difficult decisions and very emotional decisions from more center point, I felt I was guided. I don't think I was making those decisions by myself. I feel I was guided in both situation with my grandma. I was in Brazil when she passed, uh, and my emotional self wanted to quit everything I was doing and fly over. But being able to do rituals, being able to do the prayer, being able to be in the light, I was able to know she's okay. And it's important for me to stay there. And everything aligned so beautifully. The funeral, I was able to fly back, finish my studies, fly back in. The funeral was arranged by my mom and dad in Poland, and they needed magically extra day to arrange what they want to do for Granny. And I just arrived perfectly on the day of the funeral, was able to pay my respect, was able to be for my family, it was for my brother, for my parents, for my cousins. And I felt strong. And I not only felt strong, but I knew my grandma is okay. And I felt her almost after she crossed. I felt her more than I've ever in my life in this physicality felt her. So that was kind of reassuring. Oh my goodness, I've studied this, but now I am experiencing it, the spiritual world uh, beside me, and that reconfirmation of everything that we know as an initiate, experiencing in the light is a true, true blessing. And I, I feel blessed that I was able to experience death and illness with those tools, because they almost they were like a sacred passage for me, and I'm sure for my grandma and for my little baby Tinkerbell. It was such a beautiful space of growth, maturing, love to just completely took the new understanding for me, and that connection of the physical and spiritual. So it's direct application of the tools and living them, and the gratitude is just enormous that I was able to experience those difficult moments in such a beautiful way. And as strange as that sound, there was joy in those moments as well. There was a deep sense of gratitude, of connection, of love, of understanding, of sensing and feeling and knowing, and that inner peace. Everything is okay. Everything will be fine. That doesn't mean that I didn't cry, but that peace in the heart, and that reassurance and that connection. And it just showed me that everything I've done, all the steps on the path I've walked, they were a proof how this works in the moments like that in life.
Yeah, I totally agree. I found it the same in those moments where incredible sadness, but yet the power to see, um, or be in that place of joy, to know it's okay in this, it's a very difficult thing to describe if you haven't experienced it. So, yeah, I understand. Thank you, Kasia. Is there
I
anything else
feel like when we
to add?
I just was going to add, just as we are in this beautiful space of, knowing and holding that high level of energy within ourselves, that it's so supporting for our loved ones who are unwell, or maybe are already at that time of crossing. I think it's a tremendous, invisible gift, but tremendous gift that can support our loved ones to go through the illness with more peace, more stillness, more acceptance, or even crossing with, with love and acceptance in their hearts. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, if anybody would like to talk to you about this, where can they contact you?
Info@findblisswithin.com. That's my email.
That's lovely. So, if you're wanting to speak with Kasia, on any of these topics or more, then please feel free to get in touch with her. Thank you so much, Kasia, for sharing your experience. I know that it's going to resonate with a lot of people out there, so thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
And take care, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.